Imagine walking into a store and seeing 2 white t-shirts neatly folded on the same table. Same fabric, same stitching, same factory, same purpose. One has a plain tag and costs $10. The other has a tiny red rectangle stitched on the chest and costs $500. According to everything you were taught about economics, the rational choice is obvious. Buy the $10 shirt and laugh at the absurdity of the other one. Price goes up, demand goes down. That rule is supposed to be the foundation of capitalism. We chase efficiency. We chase value. But in the real world, that rule collapses instantly. The $500 shirt sells out in minutes. People camp on sidewalks overnight just to earn the right to overpay for it. And here's the twist. If the brand dropped the price to $20, nobody would want it anymore. The desire exists because the price is irrational. That isn't a coincidence. It's a flaw in human psychology that quietly keeps millions of people broke. And it's called the Veblen Paradox. My name is Bill, and I spend an unhealthy amount of time thinking about why smart people make financial decisions that sabotage their future. If you've ever felt that strange pull to buy something you couldn't afford, just to prove that you could, this video is for you. Today we are breaking down the psychology of status. We are going to look at why humans are hardwired to signal wealth they don't actually have, how luxury brands turn insecurity into profit, and why the fastest way to become rich is to stop trying to look rich. To do that, we need to talk about a man who despised the behavior of the wealthy so much that he accidentally wrote the instruction manual for it, an economist named Thorstein Veblen. To understand this, we have to rewind to the year 1899. Veblen was observing society during the Gilded Age, surrounded by industrial tycoons, inherited fortunes, and extreme inequality. And he noticed something strange. Traditional economics said people buy things because they're useful. A coat keeps you warm. A tool makes work easier. But that theory didn't explain what he was seeing. He saw people buying silverware too heavy to eat with, clothes designed to restrict movement, and homes so large they were impractical to live in. He realized that usefulness wasn't the point at all. Waste was. He called this behavior conspicuous consumption. The idea is simple but brutal. In a society divided by status, the most effective way to prove you're at the top is to publicly waste resources. If you can afford inefficiency, you must be powerful. This is where the Veblen Paradox really kicks in. For certain products, the price isn't a drawback, it's the feature. In a normal market, price is the pain you endure to get something useful. But in a Veblen market, the price is the product. If a luxury watch brand sold a timepiece for the same price as a cheap digital watch, it wouldn't become more popular. It would instantly lose all appeal. The value isn't in what the object does. The value is in who it excludes. The higher the price, the stronger the signal. The more people who can't afford it, the more powerful it feels to the people who can, or at least pretend they can. This creates a twisted demand curve where raising the price actually increases desire, because it strengthens the illusion of exclusivity. It's a self-feeding loop that pushes prices into the absurd, completely detached from function or reality. But here's where it turns dark. This system doesn't hurt the ultra-wealthy. It traps the middle class. When someone with generational wealth buys a 6-figure car or a 5-figure bag, it barely registers in their financial life. It doesn't slow their investments. It doesn't touch their future. It's background noise. But the middle class looks up, sees those symbols, and tries to copy them. Not because they can afford them, but because they're afraid of what it means if they can't. This is called pecuniary emulation. You start financing the appearance of success by dismantling the reality of it. You trade investments for payments. You trade compounding for consumption. You sacrifice long-term freedom to send a short-term signal to people who aren't paying your bills. And the scariest part is that this instinct isn't new. It's ancient. We are social animals. For most of human history, status meant survival. The peacock's tail is the perfect metaphor. It's heavy, impractical, and makes the animal more vulnerable to predators. But that's exactly why it works. It signals strength through waste. It says, I am so fit that I can survive despite this disadvantage. Modern luxury goods are our version of that tail. The oversized house, the luxury car that constantly breaks, the upgrades we don't use. We handicap our finances to prove we are winning. And in the modern world, that instinct has been fully hijacked by marketing teams that understand your brain better than you do. They understand that scarcity is more powerful than quality. That's why brands deliberately limit supply, create waiting lists, and make you feel lucky just to be allowed to spend your money. When you're told you can't have something, your brain interprets it as valuable. When you're told you need to qualify for it, your ego gets involved. You're no longer buying a product, you're buying validation. This is why people proudly tell stories about how hard it was to get a certain bag or watch, as if suffering through the process increased its worth. The pain becomes part of the status signal. The harder it was to obtain, the more it feels like proof that you belong to a higher tier. The danger is that this game has no finish line. Veblen described what he called a treadmill of consumption. The moment an item becomes accessible to the masses, it loses its power as a status symbol. What used to mean, "I've made it," suddenly means everyone has this now. So the wealthy move on. Logos get smaller. Designs get quieter. Prices go higher. What was once flashy luxury becomes embarrassing. And the middle class is left holding depreciating symbols while scrambling to keep up. First it was loud logos, then minimalist branding, then quiet luxury, and now stealth wealth. Every time you catch up, the rules change. You are chasing people who are intentionally trying to stay ahead of you, and they have infinite resources while you have a finite paycheck. This is the cruel irony. By trying to look rich, you take the exact actions that prevent you from ever becoming rich. You overspend, you underinvest, and you lock yourself into obligations that reduce your flexibility. Meanwhile, real wealth quietly compounds in the background for people who don't feel the need to prove anything. Wealth, in its truest form, is invisible. It's the freedom to say no. It's the ability to walk away. It's time, autonomy, and optionality. None of those things can be photographed, posted, or flexed online, which is why they're so often ignored. The way out of this trap is not willpower alone, it's a mindset shift. You have to opt out of the status competition entirely. You have to accept that in the modern world, status is no longer about what you own, but about how little you're owned by anything. The person driving an old, reliable car with no payments and a growing investment account has more real power than the person driving a brand new luxury vehicle financed to the limit. One of them owns their life. The other is renting an image. This is where the idea of stealth wealth comes in. The wealthiest people rarely announce themselves. They don't need to. They understand that money's greatest benefit is not consumption, but control. Control over their time, their stress, and their future. When you see someone dressed simply, living modestly, and moving calmly through the world, there's a good chance they've already won. They're not playing the same game. They've realized that wealth is what you don't see. It's the purchases not made, the upgrades declined, the lifestyle inflation resisted. So the next time you feel that pull, that itch to buy something just because it's expensive, pause. Ask yourself a hard question. If nobody else could see this, would I still want it? If the answer is no, you're not buying the item, you're buying approval. And approval is the most expensive thing you can chase, because it never pays you back. You give up freedom in exchange for a moment of feeling enough. Thorstein Veblen showed us that humans are wired to chase shiny objects, but we are also capable of awareness. We can see the trap. We can choose differently. We can prioritize assets over appearances, compounding over comparison, peace over prestige. The most powerful signal you can send isn't a logo on your chest or a watch on your wrist. It's calm. It's patience. It's the confidence of someone who knows they don't need to prove anything. Hit like if this made you pause before your next purchase. Follow Bill for more ways to break out of invisible traps. Ignore the status game and build wealth that actually works for you. I'll see you in the next one. And here's the quiet truth most people never hear. Once you stop playing the status game, something strange happens. The anxiety fades. You stop comparing timelines, lifestyles, and milestones. You realize how much mental energy you were burning just to keep up appearances. That energy comes back to you. You think clearer. You invest better. You make decisions based on long-term outcomes instead of short-term impressions. Money stops being a costume and starts becoming a tool. This is why real wealth often looks boring from the outside. It's routines instead of rushes. It's patience instead of flexing. It's delayed gratification paired with intentional enjoyment, not mindless deprivation or reckless spending. Wealth isn't about denying yourself everything. It's about choosing what actually adds value to your life and ignoring the noise designed to drain you. When you stop outsourcing your self-worth to price tags, you regain control over your future. So if there's one takeaway from all of this, let it be this. The world will constantly try to convince you that looking rich is the same thing as being rich. It's not. Looking rich is expensive. Being rich is quiet. One costs you freedom. The other buys it. And once you see that distinction clearly, it becomes very hard to unsee it. I'm Bill, and this channel is about building wealth that actually serves your life, not your ego. Stay sharp, stay patient, and remember, the most dangerous debt isn't financial, it's psychological. I'll see you next time.